Well, it worked tonight. Some nights it doesn't work, some nights it does. We're live streaming at the moment from Juliet, Tennessee. We are doing a simplex net starting at 2000 hours locally here. We usually get somewhere between 15 and, say 30 check ins on a simplex net from here in Mount Juliet, which is just 12 miles or so east of Nashville. Um, our signal gets out about 6,000 square miles, going all the way up into Kentucky, all the way down fairly far south, another sometimes 45, 55 miles south of Mount Juliet, down into Shelbyville, and sometimes a little further. But it's got a good signal and get a lot of participation for those of you interested in simplex, which I strongly recommend that you start simplex nets. They seem to be underutilized these days. I've still got about 2 minutes left before the net starts, but I like to make sure that the YouTube live feed works out okay. For those of you who might have questions about simplex or questions about operating or questions about how you get one started, be happy to help out. Um, we've done a great job. We've been doing this now. We're working on our 5th year of doing a simplex net twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturday nights. It's nice to do it that often. That way, as I joke about, we can give hams. We're the only network that we're the only net I know of that gives hams 2 times a week the opportunity to miss the net. Um, some do, some don't, but that's the beauty of having them twice a week. It gives everybody an opportunity because no matter which day of the week you pick, it seems like somebody can't make it due to family reasons, work reasons, church reasons, any reason. But there's always something that comes up. So giving it 2 times a week, it does take about an hour of time to do that. It'd be nice to share the net control responsibilities. Somebody logged on. So let me just say hello. I don't know who that is, but I can see there's a couple of people down there already. So happy to have you here. Like I said, we're another 30 seconds or so away. So I'd like to get it started early just to make sure everything's okay, which I already said that once. Shouldn't have to say it again. Um, I enjoy it. I must enjoy it. I've been doing it. This is like our 400 and something net. So I guess I do enjoy it. I just didn't realize it was that much. I did miss a few when I had a bike accident. Coming up on about 15 seconds to go. Here we go. 49, 50, 10 seconds to go. So I'll start the net here momentarily. Good evening is the frequency in use. Is the frequency in use? No, I don't think it is. All right. Good evening. My name is Paul, Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey. Net control for the Mount Juliet Simplex Radio Net. Is there any emergency or priority traffic? You didn't think so. If there was, or if there is any ever, don't hesitate to just jump in and say, hey, I need help. You don't have to be anything formal. If you have an emergency, please break at any time. We prefer you call 911, but if we're the only ones available, feel free to get us. And we'll call 911 for you or help out in any way that we can, except for family problems, children problems, eating problems, those kind of things. Mental illness, it helps if you're in ham radio. So that's not a problem. For information on this net, you can see us on Yahoo Groups. It's MJ underscore SS, Mike Juliet underscore SS, or you can see us on our regular website, which is 146415.net, 146415.net. Or you can contact me at Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey at ARRL.net. We meet normally at on Wednesdays and Saturday nights at 8 p.m. And we meet here on 146415 in case you happen to be off frequency, which is unlikely. The purpose of the net is to support and train ham radio operators for emergency communications and have some fun doing it because we never want it. We want people to get good at talking on the radio, having good stations. We hope we never have to use it as an emergency basis, but we're sure going to be ready. We invite everyone to use the net to announce amateur radio events and activities and to support the general community. It's a directed net, and all traffic should be coordinated by net control. Is there any announcements by the Peanut Gallery tonight? Please come in.
KG4MIZ.
Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
What about the poll that you're taking? How are you just going to ask people on their check-ins or what?
No, I was going to do it on the Yahoo group because there's actually a polling section on there, but it doesn't have to be limited to that. I'd love to get feedback from people, but I'll probably do the poll tonight on the Yahoo group so that people can just respond if they can. Now, that way, if I do it on the net, I only get 20 or 30 people. And if I do it on the website, on the Yahoo group, I get 60, however many there are, 64.
Okay, Roger. Okay, KG4MIZ.
Yeah, very good. Shouldn't have leaked out that information so early.
Huh? K4OFO.
Hey, Donnie. Go, Donnie. I think Donnie's got his volume turned up. Donnie, you still there?
Yeah, go ahead. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did you have an announcement?
Yeah, I was just going to pass something along. We had a club meeting tonight in Wilson County, and one of the guys who was there went to a weather seminar today conducted by the National Weather Bureau Service. And this storm is coming in this weekend. It's supposed to be in this area around Monday. They're very concerned about it, and he just telling everybody they need to be aware of it and might want to really watch things pretty close because it may have a lot of activity with it. Thought people might like to know that, kind of be prepared just in case, but they seem to be very concerned at the Weather Bureau about it.
Yeah, very good. For those that maybe you couldn't hear Donnie, the Weather Service is announcing at some point, I haven't been listening today, but there's some severe weather warnings supposedly moving here into Middle Tennessee. I guess it's going to be Sunday night, Monday in that area. And of course, I do see on the weather, I'm looking at it here on the web. It's looks like here it says it's about 15 to 20 mile an hour winds, but I don't know what the gusts are going to be. I'm not looking. In fact, what I do is go to the National Weather Service website if you're interested. But we are expecting some faster than normal winds and a bunch of rain and possibly hail, according to what I remember reading. So, yeah, thanks, Donnie, for that.
Yeah, that's going to be Monday and Monday nights when it is. It's probably a bit dark time.
Yeah, I do see that. There's supposedly some pretty good chance of rain and some, 15 mile an hour winds on Sunday night. But then Monday night is much more activity, apparently. And then, of course, it's supposed to rain again on Thursday. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, does anybody have any? If you have any updated information, just look, or if you need updated information, look on the National National Weather Service site. But it's good to be prepared. Thanks, Donnie. Anybody else with announcements? All righty. Well, we will. The other things, of course, the announcements I have are today's Saturday night. So we've got the Vanderbilt Amateur Radio Club's net on Tuesday night. That's at 7:30 on 443-800, and that's a plus offset and a 123 PL, and that's the Vanderbilt club site. And then, of course, we have our net again on Wednesday. But I think I would be prepared for some stormy weather and batten down the hatches and tie your antennas down for sure. All righty. Well, then the other announcements for tonight are, we've got right immediately following the net, we're going to have a buy-sell swap swindle net. That's tonight. So if you have anything you want to sell, you can tell us, or you can post it on the website. One of the two, or you can tell me and I'll post it on the website. Also, right after that, we're going to be doing the 2-meter sideband, and I want to make a particularly emphasis on this. It's on 144.220. 144.220. 144.220. Sorry, I said it 3 times. Because we were on the national calling frequency, which isn't a good place to be. It's not like we had any interference, but it's conceivable we were interfering with somebody else. So anyway, on the 2 meter sideband after that, an upper sideband is going to be on 144.220. Write it down, set your other radio, whatever you got to do. And that's upper sideband, of course. And let's see, do I have anything else? No. Does anybody else have any questions, needs fill on that information, or has other announcements? All righty. This is we're November 3rd, and we're happy to be here. It's been a nice day today. I actually did some yard work, so I'm hoping everybody else had a productive day. I'm on the web, of course, on the live feed. A couple of people on there today. You can see that live feed by going to my call. It's Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey. Should bring it right up to the top of the list on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you just go to the YouTube search engine, or you can do it by looking for Brain Trusts, BrainTrusts. It's one word, Brain Trusts channel, and you'll find me there as well. And if you're already a subscriber, you already got notification about the feed. All righty, well, then we'll go ahead and start taking check-ins. No other comments or questions or problems at this time? Problems related to the net, that is. All righty, then I'll start taking check-ins south of 40 first. K4 PEW, looking for check-in south of I-40.
N0 JPD, good evening.
Hey, how are you doing today? I hadn't heard from you in a while, Andy.
Hey, good evening. Glad to get back on here. Yeah, just been busy, crazy busy. Good tip on the weather. I'm glad you told me that, because I some stuff I need to prep around here for that. I haven't heard that yet, so looks like I need to do some prep tomorrow. But yeah, good to hear you, and good evening to everybody on the net there, Paul.
Yeah, very good. Glad to be here. I'm glad you're here. We don't hear from you very often, but I'm glad we do. See, you're one of those guys that is already. You're still doing the net on Short Mountain?
No, I don't do any nets on Short Mountain. I do the W cares once in a while, do the TRO net, and then also one for DCCARC.
That's right. It wasn't Short Mountain after all. Forgot about that. They should pay more attention.
Yeah, it's hard to remember all that stuff. But yeah, I help out with net control on W cares occasionally, and then like I say, you got the TRO one the first Wednesday every month, and then in a rotation on the Aries net for DeKalb County.
Yeah, well, that's good. You're doing a great public service, and from what I remember being on the hearing the listening to those nets, you do a great job.
Do appreciate it. We're part of our preamble on the TRO net as pointing toward this net on Wednesday nights as well. So hopefully we drive some folks over there on Wednesdays.
Well, I appreciate that. It's funny. You probably heard me mention this before, but I'm pretty sure there are people who just listen to try to figure out who they can't hear, because I give where people are located, and I think they use it as a service, but they're not necessarily checking in, which is fine with me. It doesn't hurt anything. I'd love to hear from them, but you know what I'm getting at. It's just, I think a net like this can help people realize what maybe their shortcomings are.
Yeah, that's it exactly. That's kind of what we discussed in the preambles. Like, hey, this is a good site to go test your footprint, test your radio, your antenna systems without the aid of an antenna. So hopefully some of the folks get over there.
Oh yeah, no, we appreciate it. And anyway, appreciate it, Andy. That's Andy N0 JPD, and he is in, I forget, is it Murfreesboro?
About 9 miles back west. I'm in Smyrna.
Yeah, that's right. Smyrna. You got to remember that. All right, very good. Again, I appreciate you being there, Andy, and I haven't seen you in a while, but maybe sometime soon. I'm kind of locked down here with living with my mother-in-law and my mother at 90 and 95, or 94. They'll be 91 and 95 first of the year. It's quite a trip living with two old ladies. I feel like I have a sitcom here. All righty. Who else we got south of 40? Please come in.
Kilo November 4, Charlie, come back.
Hey, Preston, you sound good tonight again. You were just as good as earlier. You were mobile earlier, though, weren't you?
Yeah, I was rolling around up there in Lebanon area and headed down 840 there. That would be west, I think. Yeah, goes west.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You told me you were over Lebanon slumming.
Yeah, I took a cruise through there, see what was happening. Waved at Kevin over that way, and I don't think he saw me though.
No, he would. If he was available though, he would have talked to you. I mean, he can't miss your signal if you're over in Lebanon.
Copy that. Well, good evening to you, Paul. Sounding good this way. I'll let you get back at it. KN4CCQ.
Yeah, very good. That's Preston, Kilo, November 4, Charlie, Charlie, Quebec, and he is in Possum Trot. You have to look that up on the map. I had to. All right, very good. Who else we have south of 40?
K4TYJ.
Hey, Jim. Nice to have off the weekend. Huh?
Oh, yeah, I got all next week off again, too.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. You going to do anything productive on radio? Forget the family and all the other stuff. Radio.
Oh, well, the X-Wild's got to work, so that leaves me pretty much all day to play with ham radio.
Unfortunately, that leaves you unattended for a week.
Yeah, unsupervised.
That's what I mean. So just stay out of trouble. That would be my only. I can't stay out of trouble.
I might even travel and maybe come over to Mount Juliet and play with your radios.
Well, you could do that too. Yeah, we'll give you that sticker. I climbed Mount Juliet.
Cool. I mean, I've done it a couple times. I just need one sticker.
All right, very good. Yeah, you got a great signal as well. Are you using just low wattage tonight?
Yeah, it's 10 watts.
Yeah, well, the beam works great, as you know. All right, very good. That was Jim, Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet in Woodbury. We're just a little bit north of Woodbury. But a great signal. He's got a good elevation and a great antenna there. All right, who else was south of 40?
I'll officially check in. Don't have anything further for the net. 7 to 3 to everybody. Good to hear you on the radio tonight. Back to net.
Yeah, very good, Donnie. Great signal as always, but you're only about 5-6 miles south of me. He's east of Mount Juliet Road, about 5-6 miles south. You hear my dog barking there, that monster dog. Kilo 4 Oscar, Foxtrot Oscar, and that's Donnie in south of Mount Juliet. Who else south of 40? Please come in.
K1 SPD.
Hello, Scott. What you up to today?
Oh, just watching a hockey game and checking in on the net. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're doing what I used to do in my youth, because I lived just by land about 90 miles from Toronto. We used to get the Toronto and Hamilton radio stations or television stations, so I was able to watch hockey from those stations usually 2 to 3 times a week, which I loved it as a kid, but I've just been away from it so long. I still love it. I just don't see it.
Fox Sports South right now.
That's on cable, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just streaming it.
Yeah, you have to pay for that, though,
Someone does, yep.
Yeah, no, I don't have the cable, but I do get to see it on YouTube feeds, afterwards for games and stuff. So yeah, it's hockey's one of the great sports.
It is. All right, let's get back at it. K1 SPD.
Yeah, very good, Scott. That's Scott, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta, and he's in Laverne. Who else south of 40?
Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor.
All righty, that sounds like Larry down there in Rockville. You doing all right, Larry?
Doing all right, Paul. Having a good day today.
Yeah, it was a nice day, actually. Very nice. Nice and cool and sunny and pleasant to be outside without getting broken down by the sun.
Got that right. We'll let you get on with it, K4. That's Wabby.
Yeah, very good. And again, Larry, Rockville, Kilo Echo 4 Sierra Yankee Victor, and he is in Rockville. Who else south of 40?
KN4 MPV.
Hey, how you doing there, Terry?
Doing pretty good, Paul. How you?
I'm doing great. Hey, did you try to contact me about 1:30 or 1:45 in the morning a couple of days ago?
Yeah. I try to get you if some morning's coming home. I know you say you were up sometime that time of morning, and I didn't know. I just try to holler at you. I figure if you're asleep, you got to turn down.
No, I was up, oddly enough. And normally I'm not up quite that late, but often am. And I ran into the radio when I heard the blast, because I had it up kind of loud, because the living room's about 30 feet away, I guess. And I ran in here and I got back to you, and apparently you went back into a low spot or a bad spot, because you were not close.
Okay. Yeah, I did holler at you a little ways out there. Sure did. Thank you. As a matter of fact, it was over in between Dixon and Nashville, I think.
Yeah, it was a good distance, because you were, like I said, it seemed to me I heard you call out the second time, but you couldn't hear my reply.
That's probably true with that antenna I was operating with.
Yep, and then it went away. I tried to call you several times. You weren't available anymore due to conditions or distance or terrain or whatever. No, but it was a good try, though.
Okay, Paul. Well, I'll let you have it back and send me through to everybody, and hope everybody has a good night. Appreciate the comeback.
Very good. That was Terry, and Terry is in, where's Terry? Murfreesboro?
Yeah, Murfreesboro. This is KN4 MPV.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. Sometimes my memory leaves me a little short on where everybody is. Anyway, that was Terry, Kilo November 4, Mike Papa Victor, and he's in Murfreesboro. Who else do we have south of 40? One more time before I move on. Anybody else south of I-40 here in Middle Tennessee? Nothing. All right, moving over to the east then. Who is east of Mount Juliet Road, east of Mount Juliet? Please come in.
WA4ZHI.
Yeah, you got that push to talk just filed down for a quick key, don't you?
That's the way you can get in.
Yeah, I got you. No, I just, I always figure you're going to be the first to reply because you're standing by real quick like. No, you sound like you're doing a good job. Everything all right?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Had a pretty nice day.
Oh, yeah, it was a beauty. I saved a bunch of work that I got to do tomorrow. So it's another, the next couple of days. You know how it is when you're retired.
Sure do. Don't say work.
Yeah, well, you can spread it out over a farther time because you don't have the rush of having to do it on a weekend or in the evening. And the evenings get a little tight this time of year because it gets dark. Can't do it outside very much. All right, well, good to have you in there, James. That's James, Whiskey Alpha 4 Zulu Hotel, India, and he is in Mount Juliet, just out in the center of town. Who else east of Mount Juliet Road?
CE4TWL.
Hey, did I pick the right frequency for the 2-meter sideband?
Yeah, good. And I wanted to say, if I don't think we should necessarily promote a net, maybe on 10 or other or 6, but we need to promote the fact that there is a simplex frequency on 10 meters, 29.6 FM, that I think we should utilize, and also 6 meters, 52.525. So, if not a net, maybe just more, people monitor those, put them in their scanners, put them in, whatever. KE4TWL.
Well, you are talking about FM.
Yes, FM. 29.6 FM and 52.525 FM. So, just more FM simplex, not necessarily on 2 meters, because when I'm mobile, I monitor 29.6 FM.
All right, very good. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's why I said though, that when we talked about that, and like I think I mentioned to you, it'd be great to have more. In fact, I've heard people repeatedly since I've been in. I say repeatedly, off and on. I hear people wanting to talk about where is that 10-meter net that I heard about, whatever. And I think they were talking about sideband, but I haven't heard any nets that I know of on 10 meters in the last 7 years. But I could just be missing them. I'm out of the loop. But it would be nice to have people monitoring those frequencies if they have that ability. 29.6 and 52.525. And of course, some people just don't have that capacity. All right, very good, Wes. Anything else?
No, I would just encourage everybody on the net to put those in your scanner, monitor them on your mobile. I mean, if you have those capabilities, use it or lose it. I don't think those bands are at risk, but they're there. I think we need to utilize. All right, KE4TWL.
Yeah, very good. That was Wes. He's over there in just north of Watertown. That's Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey, India. Good to hear from you, Wes. Who else is south or east of Mount Juliet Road? Please come in. I think I heard Earl, a little rough in there, Earl. Man, I'm not sure what's happening your last 2 or 3 times we talked. It's rough.
Yeah, I don't get it either over here. All this kind of rough and tough, but when it gets rough and tough, I guess we got to call on rough and ready. But anyway, that's all I got. I'll just check in and say hi and wave hand around everyone out there on that.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, good to have you in there, Earl. I really think there's something going on. I don't know what it is, but you're still there, Kevin? Were you able to copy him as rough as I was?
No, I heard him fine. sound like he was listening to you on the internet, though. Same here, W9BOQ, clear as a bell.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I don't know what's bothering that signal, but it is really, if you hear it on the internet, I mean, on the YouTube live feed, you're going to be shocked at how awful that signal sounds. It's just almost garbled. I know who it is, and I can tell he's talking, and I can read almost all the words, but you'd have to hear it to appreciate how bad it is. It's about 22 minutes into the feed here, in case anybody wants to listen to it later. All righty. That was Earl, KE4DEZ. Why do I have that right? Is it KE4? Why do I get that wrong? Earl? Yeah, it's Earl over there in Noreen. He's just east of the Cedars of Lebanon. Who else we got east of Mount Juliet? Please come in.
KG4, Muzzy.
Hey, Kevin. Really, you're hearing him right nice and clear from your side, huh?
Yeah, the only thing I heard wrong, well, it wasn't wrong, that he had his, I guess it was the internet turned up a little bit, or maybe it was a scanner in the background. That was the only thing that I heard that didn't sound like Earl.
Huh. Interesting. Well, I don't know. You listen to that on the web, and you'll know what I was hearing. It doesn't sound very good. So something is making a mess of that signal. I don't know what. Maybe it's just terrain issues bouncing off of something. I don't know what it is, because he's never before in the last couple of years has he been that rough. All right, very good, Kevin. Glad to have you in there. That's Kevin, Kilo Golf 4, Mike, India Zulu. You're not messing with it like you were with that screen you were talking about with the corner reflector, were you?
No, I'm not messing with you.
Yeah, Kevin was pulling my leg. He said he put up a screen from a house window or something. He put it on the back side of his beam so I couldn't hear him. He was pretending not to hear me. Real funny. Yeah, ham practical jokes. I get it. All right. We're going to see if someday I'm not going to be able to hear you and you're going to wonder what's going on. You'll be up pulling down all your antennas.
Oh, that'd be cruel. I'm all the time doing that anyway. Putting them up, taking them down, putting them up. I'm sorry about that, Paul. I had to do it, man. It was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. I agree, because I thought, how can he not hear me? How is that possible? Because we always are able to talk to one another. I didn't know what I figured. If you said he had a corner reflector up, and I was thinking, well, maybe, but normally, see, I could hear you, but you were pretending not to hear me, so I was flabbergasted. Well, I don't know if that's the right word, but anyway, that's Kevin, the practical joke man. Kilo Golf 4, Mike, India Zulu. And he's in Lebanon, just west of downtown Lebanon. Who else do we have east of Mount Juliet Road? Anybody else east of Wilson County, east of Mount Juliet Road? Please come in. All righty, over to the north then. North of Division Street, north of Lebanon Road, north of Wilson County, north of Tennessee. Please come in.
Whiskey 9 or Bravo, Oscar, Quebec. Dennis, I'm on the dreaded J-Bowl tonight.
Oh, the dreaded J. Oh, it works great, though. I wouldn't complain too much. I mean, it's when it works, it works. It just doesn't have this, it doesn't have the same gain as something much better. And I think you were working on that anyway, weren't you?
Yeah, it's up really high, though. But yeah, I'm out in my barn. It's kind of cold out here tonight, but really great day today.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not. You're probably only at what, 55 degrees maybe up there? Because that's where I am, 55, 56.
I guess. Yeah. I was working in the garden today, and I got about 200 sweet potatoes out of the garden. I went and gave some to the neighbor. And then I went in. My wife had a nice salmon dinner for me, and now I'm out here listening to all you knuckleheads.
Yeah, very good. It's one of my favorite titles is Knuckleheads. All righty. We've got Dennis. That was Dennis, Whiskey 9, Bravo, Oscar, Quebec, and he's in Castilian Springs up there towards, I call it Hermitville, but it's Hartsville. My wife used to live up there some years ago. She says it really was remote up there because she was driving into Nashville every day, like an hour one way. So it was quite the chore for her. And that's why she moved here to Mount Juliet. All right, who else we got? East of Mount Juliet, please come in. Or north of Mount Juliet, please come in.
WB0 and
All right, I think I heard Mark in there. There might have been a double, but go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, good evening, Paul. Been playing with a mic amp here, so I may sound a little strange. Robin kept saying my audio was too low, so now I boosted it up, and I think I've got about a 50-watt mic amp here.
Yeah, no, the audio sounds pretty good. I think your audio was a tad low. In fact, did I mention that to you before on one of the other nets?
Yeah, I think you have from time to time. You don't always say that, which I appreciate, but yeah, I think it probably was a little low.
Yeah, I was actually, for instance, on this mic that I'm using now, this PR77 from Heil, I was kind of surprised that I needed to put an amp, a little mic amp on it, because as it stood, it gave me lower audio than I expected. I mean, the audio quality is fine, but it was the audio just wasn't beefy enough.
Yeah, well, this is a Heil 781, and same issue with it. It's just a little low. If I really climb into it, talk loud, it seems to work. But I found a little op amp that I wired up with a 9-volt battery and got wires stretched across my desk here. So that's what I'm doing tonight.
No, the audio sounds great. If you want to hear what I hear, you were about 28 minutes or so into the video. The video started a couple of minutes early, so the first couple of minutes are me just ratchet jawing about the net, and the only people listening were the live feed, and they weren't even on. But anyway, like I said, about 27 and a half or 28 minutes into that video.
All right. Well, I'll go listen to it. Appreciate it, and have a good evening.
Yeah, you're East Nashville, right?
I'm north. I'm up by Shoots Branch, Old Hickory Lake.
Oh, that's right. Old Hickory Lake. I was thinking about something else there. All right, very good. That's Mark, Whiskey Bravo 0, November Oscar, and he's up near Old Hickory up towards the golf courses, I remember. Don't I have that right, Mark?
No, not really. I'm close to the weather station.
Oh, that part. There we go. I forgot that it was the weather station. Yeah, the memory's starting to go. Does that ever bother you at all, that weather station radar?
It only bothers me that they block out what's coming over my house. If you watch the radar, they always have that little circle around it where it's apparently the angle isn't right. It's too close to the ground. So anyway, I don't know what's really coming here very often.
I got you. Yeah, that's right. It would leave like a grayed out area directly around it. I think it's trying to avoid the ground clutter. Isn't that what that's for?
Yeah. I think they used to call them defruiters or something like that, that they just intentionally blocked out an area close to the antenna.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember it well. When I did operate radar too many years ago that I want to tell you about it, but it was just wasn't even ground clutter. It was mostly ocean clutter because I was on a ship. So yeah, we saw a lot of stuff that just wasn't, who knows what it was, just reflecting of things, But anyway, yeah, good to have you in there, Mark. And again, that was Whiskey Bravo 0, November Oscar up by the weather station, the National Weather Service Weather Station Bureau up there in North Mount Juliet. I think that's still considered Mount Juliet, isn't it?
Well, officially, I'm in the county. Across the road is Mount Juliet.
Hey, okay, very good. Yep, it's actually the county, Northwest Wilson County, by the weather station, by the Weather Bureau radar system over there. And that's Mark, Whiskey Bravo 0, November Oscar. Appreciate you being there, Mark. And who else we got north of Mount Juliet?
KN4, BTW.
Haven't heard you from a while. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm just trying to get back in. I've gotten away to get my secondary ground plane about 35 feet off the ground outside. I just need more coax and
the ground set up. So almost there, ready to be back up and going better than I was before.
Yeah, a little bit of that was you got faded in and out. I'm not, what radio are you on right now, or antenna?
It's just a little 4-watt valve thing with a 16-inch whip on it.
And that's right. That's right. You're on the HT there from I forget the road you're on there. Where was that?
Nonaville.
Nonaville. Very good. So you're doing all right though. You're still how's school going?
I'm still breathing, so I've got that going for me, but I'm just doing all right.
Just doing. Sound like me when I was in high school. Just doing all right.
You said that again. What was it?
I said just like me when I was in school. Just doing all right. Nothing special.
Yeah, well, now I'm also taking college classes at the same time online, so it makes it that much more fun.
Oh, I can believe that. And the college courses generally are a lot more intense and detailed than high school courses, aren't they?
Sure is.
Yeah, but you know what? I found it to be more fun.
I mean, it's nice that they're online, so I can do it at my own pace for the most part. As long as I get all the stuff done, I can work it around my own schedule.
Yep. But the beauty of college courses and colleges is that I was just telling my mother about this earlier. Technically, the professors don't give a darn if you're there or if you do the work or don't do the work. They're there to present the information. If you do it, that's your business, And it's kind of nice because it's not like in high school where it tends to be like a parent-child relationship,
Yeah, it's nice. It gives me a lot more freedom, a little bit more leeway, but I do still have to go to high school too. So I'm doing both at the same time, which it's killing me in a way.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, let's get back after. You're right, though. It takes you have to have you really concentrate on the studies, and I appreciate it. Hope you do a good job with that. But very good. You didn't tell me where you're hoping to go to college.
Well, I want to go for engineering, so my hope, if I can get into MIT, I'm going to MIT. I've made that decision. But after that, Georgia Tech, and then Embry-Riddle out in Prescott, Arizona.
Oh, yeah. You like that aeronautical stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to go into aerospace engineering.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Embry-Riddle is like just a handful that come up to speed, on aeronautical engineering.
Oh, yeah. I went down to check out Georgia Tech just a couple weeks ago, and I went to Embry-Riddle, had a presentation last month down here in Nashville, so I was able to go to that. But I'm only a junior still, so I've got time.
Oh, yeah. No, I know you do. That's good, though. I'm glad you're looking towards that because it's these are primary important decisions for lead to your future, and I hope you do a good job with it because it's sound like you're going to. So appreciate you being there, Colt. Appreciate you checking in with us. I know you're a busy guy, doing both high school and college courses, especially you say you were a junior, right?
Yeah, I'm a junior. I just turned 17 last month or 2 months ago now.
Yeah, very good. Yep, glad to see you're doing well, though. Anyway, that's Kilo November 4 Bravo Tango Whiskey, junior in high school. Looking forward to college, which is neat. All right, Colt, good to have you in there. And he's up in North Mount Juliet. You're off of Nonaville too, aren't you? Not?
Yeah, I'm only about a quarter of a mile up Nonaville, though, so I'm right up close to Lebanon Road.
All right, very good. Good to have you in. Who else in Nonaville again? For Mark, Kilo November 4 Bravo Tango Whiskey. Who else north of Mount Juliet? All right, over to the west. Anybody west of Mount Juliet? West of Mount Juliet Road, please come now.
KM4YRF.
All right. You didn't catch me too early on the live feed, did you, Mike?
I did.
Yeah. I get paranoid about that thing working. It's a little frustrating.
Yeah, I can imagine, and I can see the need to get an early start just to make sure.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure why. Why it doesn't work. I really do think it's a YouTube issue more so than it is a me issue because I've got the same computer and I tried the laptop the same night and it didn't want to do it either. And I thought, well, I'll just chalk it up to either a busy network or a busy YouTube because that thing's growing like a weed. They're probably just blocking me,
Well, I definitely think that it's a YouTube issue, and not a Paul issue.
Oh, I don't know. I have my issues some days. Anyway, yeah, it's good to have you in there, Mike. Yeah, you're hearing any more or less? I mean, have you spent more time with that antenna? Are you getting hearing more things than you used to? I mean, in general, I mean, more than you remembered that we talked about last time.
Yeah, absolutely. I could hear Colt pretty well on the HT from wherever he is, Nonaville. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. As I say, it's really surprising when you really get a good antenna. It actually is. You think you got to be kidding me. I'm listening to an HT that's 15 or 18 or 20 miles from me. You think that my old system would never have heard that ever.
Yeah, mine either. And I'm just thrilled with my new antenna. In fact, I got outside today and put that trapped dipole up. I've got it up about 12 feet right now. That's as high as I can get it without help. So my brother's coming to help me get it on up the pole so I can get back on HF. So
Yeah, no, that's the trap dipole for.
it's for HF. It'll do 80 through 10 meters.
Oh, okay, very good. Yeah, I'm sure it was for HF, but I just didn't know which one to put up. If you said to me, I didn't remember, so I'm sorry about that. All right, that was Mike, Kilo Mike 4, Yankee Romeo Foxtrot, and he is in Bellshire, northeast of Nashville. Anybody else west of Mount Juliet?
Comment.
Go.
Is Mike using the same antenna as you?
Yes.
Okay. Good signal. All right. K1S
Yeah, it does make a heck of a difference. I mean, I hate to keep saying that, but it does. Just a good antenna. As you know, Scott, it's not news to you, but it's easy to be disappointed with a different, lower priced. Well, just not even lower price isn't the issue. It's just a lower quality and a lower gain antenna. It just doesn't do it for you. I mean, if you go from even if you're just talking about the difference between putting up a rooftop antenna, just a simple one, a simple, 4 dB gain antenna, and you hook it up to your machine. You go, hey, that's pretty good. I can hear a lot of stuff. And then you go to your HT and you go, I can't hear crap. Well, it's what it feels like, especially with this antenna. I can't imagine being a ham without this antenna. But again, if you don't have a good elevation or a good way to put it up, that you can put it up. It's like you live with what you got. And I'm in the same boat, really. If I wanted to, if I had the money and the inclination and my wife would let me, I'd put up a 100-foot tower. But that ain't happening. 3 strikes again. Yes. All right, very good. We got Scott with a comment there. Thanks for that comment on Mike's signal. Who else? West of Mount? Are we going north? Northwest of Mount Juliet. Please come in.
Yeah, 4 WBZ.
Hey, stranger, how you doing tonight?
I'm okay. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing good, really. I know you've been active in the Nashville Club. How's it going over there?
I'm very active. Been to a couple of events, but okay, I guess. I just got back from a week out in Oklahoma. Did a little family reunion out there. Came back and picked up my daughter tonight. We're sitting here geeking on our phones, and I saw the email reminder for the net, so just thought I'd check in.
Well, you did a fine job. Are you on which antenna? I don't remember what you were using over there at the house.
Oh, it's a little ground plane antenna. Basically, it's a J-pole with some radials pointed down at a 45-degree angle. And I currently don't even have it mounted. It's just sitting on the ground of the balcony behind even the wrought iron handrail. So, it gets into you for the net. I'm not sure who else can hear. I put it up on high power, so if anybody wants to chime in and comment on my signal from Hermitage, I'm pretty close to Mercy Priest Dam, but we've tried HF before. I'm a real bad spot for HF. I did just get a 6-meter sideband antenna here a while back. I just need to put it together, so I don't know. I may look at a multi-bander later, but for too much flexibility, I'd probably have to have something bigger than what I could line for 6 meters. I'm going to play around with it when I get some time, and looking forward to that. Hopefully not too much interference of all the other apartments around me.
Yeah, I got you. Which way does your second floor porch, or which way does that face?
Mostly south. I don't know about due south, but it's mostly south. I'd have to pull out the compass to get an accurate answer for that. But yeah, it's at least mostly south.
Now, I'm just curious because you're pretty much full scale to me. So the signal on that little ground plane's working great. The true test of Mike's antenna up there in Belshire. Can you hear Chris down there near the Percy Priest and Hermitage?
Just to see if anybody else want to comment. But yeah, it's usually good enough even on low power to check into you because, well, especially since you upgraded your antenna, but we were doing it even before that too.
Yes, absolutely. Mike, were you able to copy Chris down in the Old Hickory or Hermitage by the dam?
Absolutely. He's about 3 bars on this Yaesu radio, but have a good copy.
Yeah, in fact, he's probably facing away from you.
Could be.
Yeah, he said it was probably, his porch was probably facing mostly south, which would put him in almost a due south of you.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
All right, well, very good. I just want to see how your antenna was doing with him. It's like a good test, really. A signal's bouncing around. All right, Chris, I'm glad you could break it in there tonight. I'd like to have you in as often as you can, but when you can is fine. And that was Chris, Kilo India 4 Bravo Whiskey Zulu, and he is in Hermitage north of the Percy Priest Dam.
We got a few of those mixed around. It's KI4 WBC, but you're close.
Yes, as I said that, I thought, that doesn't sound right. I'm glad you corrected me, though. Again, let me correct that. It's Kilo India 4 Whiskey Bravo Zulu, and it's the same first name. His name is Chris. He's over there in Hermitage near the dam. All right, Chris, sorry about that. I got dyslexia here. Who else west of Mount Juliet?
Kilo India 4 Zulu Delta Delta.
Very good. How are you this evening?
Doing well, Paul. Thank you. Have a great copy on, Chris, Mark, and Mike. It's unusual. Some of the stations I think I should be able to hear, I don't. The other ones are kind of hit or miss. Well, it's strange.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the best way for you to figure out, or you, among others, not just you, it's the best way I can figure out is who I can hear and how well do I hear him and how come I can hear him, the deal. I mean, I even wonder that now. Last night we had somebody trying to check in from, it's a difficult station up there near, up there, northeast Castilian Springs, and no copy whatsoever, which was surprising to me. But yeah, I mean, so which stations were you thinking you should get?
Just some more, I guess, north of Lebanon Road, north of Mount Juliet. I think I only copied one. And then the gentleman that was just talking, that was by Percy Priest Dam, that's probably closer to me than anybody. And I couldn't copy him at all. But I could hear the Old Hickory stations, the one over by the weather station, all that, S10, S20, but right by the dam, I figured it would be closer, no copy at all. And then nobody south of I-40 other than the one.
Oh, yeah, it just gives you a good clue on, I'm not sure what your elevation is there, but Mike, I mean, that's the kind of things you kind of have to figure out. So you is it practical for me to get a higher antenna even with the same one, and can I afford a better antenna? I'm sure you know the drill by now.
Oh, yeah. Actually, today I raised, since we spoke last, I swapped the antenna out. I had the Aero J-pole, the aluminum J-pole, last time we talked, and I checked in. I swapped it out today for the property that I had in the garage, pretty much brand new. That's the one I was talking to you on from Watertown that worked so well. Put that over here, this Old Hickory QTH, and raised it up about 10 more feet from when we spoke last, so it's above the roof line of this house here, about 10 feet higher than it was, and I think a little bit better antenna.
Yeah, well, you're S9 into me right now, so it's not like that's a big deal. It's just your ability to probably hear is the big deal. Let's see, you're over in, gosh, I forgot where you were.
Old Hickory going kind of toward Lakewood, right on the Cumberland River. Can pretty much see the river right next to the Hermitage Golf Course, going toward Lakewood.
Oh, yes, okay. And if close to the river gives you fairly poor elevation then.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. It's, gosh, I think 200 feet lower or something like that, 100 or 200 feet than I was at the old address, my old house over western Wilson County, Langford Farms off Saundersville Road by the lake. That was right by the lake, and this is even lower than that, so it's a struggle.
Yeah, no, and that's probably the biggest thing. You're not going to easily be able to overcome that issue. But like I said, you're full S9 into my station. And I'm sure there's others that can hear you reasonably well. I don't know which one's offhand. Who else is just a fair distance away that's copying Mike there in Old Hickory?
Mike India Zulu.
Hey, you got him over there in Lebanon, do you, Mike? Kevin?
Yeah, I got a good copy on it.
Okay, there's one over there in Lebanon, so that's a fair piece from you.
CCQ, I got a really rough copy on him, but I do hear him. Didn't hear him earlier, right about a F3 and a really good, strong, quiet signal.
Yeah, very good. We just had Preston in there in Rockville, and he's got a copy on you. A little rough, but he says he's copying.
I can hear him.
Who is it?
K4IDC.
Okay, didn't recognize your voice. Sorry. You can hear him good. That's good. So that you have the newest of new antennas now?
Yeah, it's the same new one I've been using since I got off the chop suey antenna.
You're not going through withdrawal or nothing, right?
Not yet.
All right. You've got Robin, and he's about 5 miles south of me there, Michael. So he's coming. He's at a poor elevation too. He's down there on the east side of Percy Priest Lake.
Okay. Yeah, he didn't break the squelch. Turned it down all the way, and I think I could be imagining it. I thought I heard something in the noise, but no signal on the meter or anything.
All right, very good. Try it one more time, Robin. Just give your call out so if you can hear me.
All right, very good. I'm not sure who I'm calling, but maybe you can hear me now. And for what it's worth, you're about S1 here, just above the noise. So poor path both ways, it sounds like. K4IDC.
No copy on that there, Michael?
Yeah, got him that time. A whole bunch of noise. He was barely below the static, but I could definitely hear his voice and pretty much make out what he said.
Okay, very good. You can see the difficulties you're having though, are predominantly just due to elevation issues, I imagine, because that's a very nice diamond antenna.
Yeah, I was very impressed with it. That's the one I put the J-pole at the house in Watertown that when we talked over there, which I still can't believe we could talk as well as we did with that terrain in between us there. But I took that antenna down and brought it over here because I thought it was better, might help with the elevation problem. And I got it above the roof line today, so I think it's helped. But yeah, still fighting the elevation a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. And that I don't care what antenna you have, without the elevation, you're gonna be missing stuff, you know. All right, very good. That was Mike, Kilo India 4 Zulu Delta Delta, and he's over in near the Cumberland River there, kind of in a bad spot elevation wise. Over in, I guess, what is that area called where you are? That's Old Hickory, right?
Yeah, the zip code's Old Hickory. It's Hopewell, I guess. If anybody's familiar, that was a long time ago. It was, I guess, technically called Hopewell. It's between Hermitage and Lakewood, as you're going toward Lakewood, across from pretty much across from the Hermitage, there on the Old Hickory Boulevard.
I got you. Very good. That was Kilo India 4 Zulu Delta Delta Mike. And he's kind of in northeast. Well, he's, if anybody could hear him, because it was a little confusing, but by the Cumberland River and Hopewell, what used to be Hope, was it Hopewell? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what they call it. There's like a Hopewell Baptist Church or something. That's what, like my grandfather grew up out here in the 50s and 60s, and this area was known as Hopewell then, but it kind of integrated into Lakewood, and then now Lakewood's gone, and then of course it's just Old Hickory now, so it's all the same.
Yeah, very good. Good to have you in there. I'm glad we do a little test there. Rob, and now you're checking in, I imagine.
Yeah, am I late, or are you starting a different direction?
No, you're late. Hold on. Who else we got? Wes, or somebody had a question. Go ahead. Someone have a question or a comment? I guess not. So who else we got? Wes, before we get back to Robin.
And for Victor Charlie Mobile White House.
Yes. How are you doing tonight? That's whiskey for Victor Charlie, is it not?
Yeah, November 4. Yeah, I was hearing the other guy. I could tell he was transmitting. That was about it. Over.
Very good. You're not mobile tonight, are you?
Yeah, I'm mobile.
Where are you mobiling tonight?
I'm here in White House near Walmart. I'm headed towards Hendersonville.
Yeah, we got a nice signal coming out of White House mobile. That's great.
Yeah, I'm hearing in and out. So you'll probably hear me drop here in a minute. But yeah, likewise, your S9. Still running 5 watts.
Oh, it's still on 5 watts. Which antenna are you using the mobile that gives you such a great signal?
Just a 5/8 Larson mag mount.
Wow. Yeah, it's doing great. I guess White House is better than I thought it was. You know, the elevation.
There are some high spots around here, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Well, very good. It's Bill, right?
Yeah, Alpha Lima, over.
That's right, Al. Sorry about that. That's November 4, Victor Charlie, correct?
Yeah, that's it. W4 is down in southern Georgia. We met one year at the Huntsville Ham Fest. I should have got the picture, over.
Yeah, what I goofed is when I typed in your name, because I didn't want to be embarrassed by not remembering your first name, Alan. I forgot about that. And I accidentally hit his call. And I said, nah, that doesn't even look right.
Yeah, he got the W4 Victor Charlie. The guy that had it before him was in Fairfax, Virginia. And I was going to stop and visit him going through Fairfax, but I never got that done either. But I haven't heard him on in a while, so I'm hoping he's okay. He's a big PHF, UHF DXer, like Robin and I are. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess. Well, you're doing a great signal up there in 5 watts mobile up there in White House. So I'm glad you checked in, Alan. Sorry about the name call mix up there, but I guess that's because I have, well, I guess my memory's starting to slide a little bit. But that was Alan. It's November 4, Victor Charlie. He's mobile on 5 watts from White House, doing a great job into this station. Who else? West, please come now. Hey, how you doing tonight there? Hold on, I was writing it down here. How you doing tonight there, Charles?
I don't know, I'm pretty tired, but I still can't fall asleep. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. You got to think pleasant thoughts and just relax. That's what I've always had to do.
All right. And my 2-year-old wants to talk too. Don't really have much. It's kind of chilly. Supposed to be getting some bad storms Monday here.
Yeah, that's what they say. So I put some extra rope on that antenna you get.
And I'm going Tuesday for Macy's there.
Ah, very good. Well, get all spiffed up and ready to roll. I'm sure you'll do well. Good to have you in there, Charles. All right, we had Charles in there in Cottontown. That's Kilo Golf 4 Sierra Foxtrot Foxtrot. Good signal out of Cottontown. Who else we have west of Mount Juliet? Please come in. Nothing else west before we go to late check-ins? Well, I do have Robin in there we've already checked in, but we can do it again. How you doing tonight, Robin?
All good, thanks, Paul. I spent most of the day outside and sorting through my antenna pile and made terrific headway.
Yeah. You know what you do is after you handle all that aluminum, lick your fingers, see how they taste.
Well, they taste fine after I wash them with antibacterial hand soap.
I'm telling you, that aluminum oxide is awful.
Aluminium.
Yeah, British actually spell it that way.
I know. One of my favorite experiences was with grad students at Vanderbilt several years ago. A young lady who became a dear friend. She's from England, and one day in lab when she was still new to Vanderbilt, I looked at her and said, aluminium, for something we were working with. And she looked at me and smiled her beautiful smile and said, oh, you said it correctly.
He said that something that there was a fellow I worked with down in Florida. He was a sheet metal mechanic, and he was asking me something about amateur radio or something. And I said, well, you can, I think I said something about QRZ. And he went, are you from Jamaica? I said, what? He's from Jamaica. That was a problem. I said, no, that's just, that's just the phonetics so nobody confuses it. Oh, okay.
What's Jamaica have to do with QRZ?
Because Z is the way that you would say it in some of the other islands in the Pacific, in the Caribbean. Just due to the British influence. In some of the islands in the Bahamas and Bermuda and that, etc.
Got it.
Yeah, that's one of the in Canada they do the same thing. They often will say if they're spelling something it's got a Z in it, they'll say Z instead of Z, or they certainly won't say Zulu necessarily, but you get the gist of it.
It's Z savings time instead of Zulu savings time.
I don't know if they do that for the hams because that wouldn't make any sense. I don't think. I could. Why not? It's just a Z. We just use Zulu because that's the standard, international phonetic word for Z, right?
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, I just, since I had half of my mother's whole side of the family, because my grandparents came over here as naturalized citizens from Canada, so almost all of my relatives from that side of the family still lived in Canada or emigrated here later, and so I got to hear all of their different. It's a common, with a common language separated by the language because their words are often different than ours.
Yep. The boot and the bonnet.
Yeah. Plus, my mother had warned me. She says, when we go to somebody's house to eat over there, don't ask for a napkin.
What do you ask for?
Serviette. It's the French term. And the reason is because in Canadian, and I believe British, but I'm not positive. I don't know what they use in Britain, but in Canada, you say napkin, they're going to give you a funny look because they think it's a sanitary napkin.
Okay.
Anyway, now we touched on that subject. Let's appreciate you being there. And that's Robin, Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie. He is 5 miles south of Mount Juliet, just east of Percy Priest Lake, and just between Percy Priest Lake, and 171, which is Mount Juliet Road. Who else we got late check-ins? Please come in. Hey, where are you mobiling tonight there, Richard?
I just left the house heading toward Nashville.
Ah, so you're over just west of Lebanon, huh?
Copy. I'm heading west right now on Lee Bannon Road, just past Snow White in downtown Lebanon.
Stop by, get me a shake, would you, and bring it over to the house?
Yeah, right on that.
They got some good shakes, although I made the mistake of ordering one of those walnut shakes. It was like they didn't really grind up the walnuts, so I had like a third of a cup of walnuts in the bottom of my shake.
Well, I didn't want you to get flooded, I don't guess. That's what makes about that place to get your money's worth.
All right, your signal is a little bit up and down there and a little rough, but because you're mobile. On which way you coming in?
You're breaking up on the top. My dad's got my finger's not doing what it should tonight for some reason. Of course, the closer I get, the better I'll hear you. But at the moment, you're kind of scratchy, so I'll shut up and get out of the way. Y'all carry on. Thank you for what you do. KFOSIB.
Yeah, very good, Richard. That's Richard. He's on his way back, or way from Lebanon, where he lives, towards Nashville. That's Kilo India 4, Sierra India Bravo. He's Mobile, and I'm not sure where he was mobile, but he's coming west, in case anybody's interested. Who else we got late check-ins? All righty, no more late check-ins. Second to last chance here.
Got a question for VC.
Yes, go ahead. How you doing, Alan? What's up?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm down here off the ridge here. I was here in the Mobile in Lebanon. Real noisy, but solidly noisy, so that's pretty good. I'm at a pretty bad location. Yeah, I wondered, you're living the 24-foot vertical, I think, and I wondered if that was DC grounded. Some of them are, and some of them aren't, either with the bail-in or just the shot. But I've got an 8-foot vertical, and it's not DC grounded, and it works great as a 10-meter vertical over.
Oh, is that right? No, this one says it's DC grounded. That's correct.
Okay, lots of times they put a baling in the bottom, and that gives them the DC ground, or they just could short it with a stub or something. But I just wondered, because I wondered if that would load up like that might load up with a tuner at the antenna, like on 20 and 40 maybe even. But if it's DC grounded, you're kind of sunk over.
Yeah, I get it. Well, it is DC grounded, and I don't know if I'd want to chance that on anything but what it's, because this thing works so well on 2 meters, 70 centimeters. It's astounding.
Yeah, they probably have a little sharp baling in the bottom, and that also could be your decoupling sleeve, the sides of the ground plane. That gives you the real low angle, so that could be the reason. Which one do you have? I forgot.
The X700.
Okay, yeah, you're probably getting the gain of a 4-element beam there in every direction of it.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it is 24 feet, man. I've never had an antenna this nice, and it's well worth the money if you have the money.
Yeah, it's doing the job. Of course, I hear you even in the bad areas. Of course, I'm getting closer to you as well. We'll be technically in Mount Juliet in about 2 more miles here, right off of the parkway. Over.
Yep, I got you. No, you're doing a good job, even so, on 5 watts there, Alan.
Yeah, next question I had is, you guys had a get-together sometime, or maybe, I think I heard something about that. Do you normally have get-togethers, or just once in a while? Over?
No, we have what we call a meeting, but it's really just a breakfast and have fun chewing the fat and talking radio or whatever else comes up. Next Saturday at Mount Juliet at the Barbecue on Mount Juliet Road, almost in the middle between I-40 and Lebanon Road, but it's just south of the railroad tracks on the east side of the road.
Okay, what time? I might be able to make it.
It is 8 a.m. on Saturdays. And then you can be there early. You can come in. We're usually there till 10:30.
Okay. Well, I might try and make it. We'll see how it's going. And, yeah, I've got some bigger antennas I run mobile when I take trips, but I need to get them back on. I want one that folds over real easy. The Chris-Craft collinear, the quarter wave and the half wave, the old collinear has been around forever. That works great on 10 meters with, so it gives you a 10-meter and a 2-meter antenna over.
Yeah, I got you. Yep. No, there's a lot of neat stuff out there. I'm not sure I always have the time and inclination and the money to do it all, but appreciate you being there, Alan, and appreciate the comments as well. And everybody's welcome, by the way, for those meetings. I use that term loosely. It's just a nice get together. We usually get 10 to 18 people showing up for breakfast and coffee, and you don't have to buy a darn thing if you show up. It's nice to buy something, but a cup of coffee doesn't cost. But it used to be $0.25, but now it's like $4. No, it's not that high. It's like $2.50 or something. All right, very good, Alan. Good to have you in there. Do we have any other late check-ins? Please come now. All right, moving over to those sandbaggers, lollygaggers, lurkers, and and scanner listeners. Nope. And procrastinators come in after midnight if I'm up, or tomorrow. I'm surprised we don't have Eddie jumping in here at K4 EBX jumping in at this point. Anybody else before we move on? Well, very good. We had 22 check-ins. We're moving quickly into the buy, sell, swap, and swindle net here on the 146415 Mount Juliet Simplex net. And this is Kilo 4 Papa Echo Whiskey, since I so rarely say my call on the net. Does anybody have anything they'd like to announce for sale or something they want?
K4 IDC.
Yes, Robin, what's up?
I posted everything that I have to the email list today. Updated it with some more antennae stuff.
Ah, great. For those that you can look, if you don't get the email, go to the Yahoo site and see that. But Robin has posted a whole bunch of aluminium antenna stuff that he's got piled up at the house, and he's getting willing to sell it at a decent price. If you have some questions about that, you can reach him at Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie at Comcast.net. Anything else? But that is all you just updated. I did not see that, but you already put that on the web.
I did.
Very good. Thanks, Robin. Anybody else? I know that Scott put something up there too again, and I forget which one that was. Which one was that, Scott? You still there?
Sold it.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Anybody we know is in the group, or is it outside the group?
I had one local inquiry and sold it to somebody up in Massachusetts.
Wow, that's great. And where did you sell that through? QRZ?
QTH.
Excellent. Excellent. You got the price you wanted, I take it?
Certainly did.
Great. Glad to hear it. Very good. Anybody else with anything with the buy, sell, swap, swindle, or buy, sell, swap, or swindle? That's what it is. There's no more on that. Anybody else? All right, then we're going to move over to the 2-meter sideband net on 144.220. 144.220. In case there was any doubt, I wanted to say it the third time. It's 144.220 because everybody who was doing it before, we were doing it on a different frequency, and I'm not going to say what it was, just so you don't get it confused. 144.220, and that's 2-meter upper sideband, and we'll move over there right now. Right after I tell you again, we had 22 check-ins, and it's a good number for us. Nice, kind of an average number. We normally, it's anywhere from 15 to been high as 32 or 34 or something. But I find it's good to send out the reminders because some people don't remember or can't remember, or they just need the kick in the butt like I do. All right, very good. I'm moving over to the 2-meter sideband. If you give me a minute, it'll be right there. K4P.
That's buy, sell, swindle, or trade. N4VC.
N4VC. No, it's not trade. We don't trade anything. We swindle each other.
Well. Depends on whether you want to be a nice guy or not so much.
Oh, it's obviously just a joke. I don't expect anybody to be swindling somebody. But you had something in there, Alan?
Yeah, I can tell Robin's transmitting. That's about it. I'm destinated here, but I just wondered if he still does welding. I had a mower deck on my mower. I was going to take. Are you asking me if I've got something to sell?
Oh, he can hear you, Richard. Hold on.
Just going to be a quick, easy weld.
Robin's still doing welding, and you can contact him at that K4 IDC India Delta Charlie at Comcast.net with questions.
Okay, well, I just wondered. Maybe I'll see him at the breakfast sometime or something. Okay, just wondered, and 73 and 4VC.
All right, thanks, Alan. Richard, you didn't have a question, did you?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, very good. You must be closer in the.
Yeah, I'm getting on the other side of 109.
Okay, that's right. All right, we're moving over to the sideband portion, and it is swindle. It's just that nobody swindles each other.
Okay, I'll let you later. Go ahead and get to your sideband.
Yeah, very good. K4PEW. Closing this portion, and I'm picking up the other mic here, and we're going to talk on 144.220 upper sideband. I'll be there in 1 second.
Are you still vertical?
Yes, everybody should be vertical, but most people will be able to hear you even if you are horizontal.
Yeah, I don't have anything vertical at home that'll match any down there, but okay. 73.
Yep, have a good one. All righty, back to the other microphone. Sorry about that on the microphone, but I am K4PEW with the Mount Juliet Simplex net on 144, 220 upper sideband. Who do we have? Let's go with the south first. South of Mount Juliet, please come in.
Sideband, good evening.
I'm sorry, I had my volume down like a dummy. Was that who was that?
N0JPD over here on sideband.
All right, I got you that time, Andy. I'm sorry. Perfect. You had a very good audio, by the way. You copy, Andy? N0JPD is K4PD.
Yeah, I got you there, Paul. You copy me okay? I got a great signal on you over here.
Oh, yeah. No, you're doing fantastic over here. Good, nice audio, too. Very good. Let me move on. Who else south of 40? Please come down.
Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet.
Yep, I got Jim in there, too, down at Woodbury. Andy, you copying Jim okay? N0JPD, are you copying Jim in Woodbury?
Yeah, I just copied him. The guy just checked in. Yeah, got him.
Okay, very good. Just wonder how well you're copying. Very good. Let me move on. South of 40, please come.
K1S.
Hey, Scott, how are you doing on listening? Did you get the other two guys?
Oh, yeah. Sure did.
All right, very good. Anybody else south of 40? All right, let's move over to the east. East of Mount Juliet, please come in.
KE4CWI.
Hey, very good. You're copying everybody so far there, Wes?
Got everybody so far?
Very good. All right, and who else east of Mount Juliet? Anybody else east of Mount Juliet, please come in. All right, up north of Mount Juliet, please come in. All right, well, let me just do a quick recap before I move along too far here. At first, I had N0JPD Andy down in Smyrna, and then Jim, Kilo Echo 4 Tango Yankee Juliet in Woodbury, and then Scott in Laverne, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta, and then I had Wes, Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey India in near Watertown. Anybody else north of Mount Juliet, please come in.
KI4ZDD.
Hey, how you doing, Michael? You sound good?
You too. You went from about a S3 to a good S9 or 10. And I copied the other, I think the other two stations. A little low audio, but I can still hear them.
Yeah, I got you. Now you're sounding good though. In fact, this is on the YouTube feed as well. It's a little long. It's at about 9:12 or so. Well, I say at 9:12, about an hour and 12 minutes or so into the feed. But anyway, yeah, you sound good, Michael. That's Michael Kilo India 4 Zulu Delta Delta, and he is in. I keep forgetting where you are. You are in. Oh, that's right. You're over by the Cumberland River there, northeast of Nashville. Who else we got north? Please come in. Anybody else north? Anybody else west of Mount Juliet, please come in. Anybody west of Mount Juliet, please come in. All right. Anybody, any place, anywhere, please come in.
K4IDC.
Hey, there you go. What kind of power are you running tonight there, Robin?
This one be, I'm going to say it's about 40 watts.
Well, your 40 watts is doing fine. I've got a good copy. Let me try it. Andy, you should be copying in pretty good, aren't you?
Yeah, it's not the best in the world, but I do got to have a copy of it. It's a little light for me over here, but definitely got a copy of it. Yeah, who is that?
Andy's in Smyrna. Is that all there? Your antenna's on that tower, right?
No, it's on a tower. It's up about 60 feet, GP15, using about
Right now, about 100 watts.
Yeah, you're a little light going south there into Smyrna, which isn't really that far from you. Robin?
Yeah, well, he's pretty light to me too. So, and this antenna that I'm using is, it's decent. It's a decent match. I don't have SWR meter in line right now. It's a decent match at 144. It's not anything to write home about. It's much better at 146, which I imagine is the same case for him because he said a Comet or Diamond, whatever that is. They don't cut those antennas to cover this end of the band.
No, it's more like right in the dead in the middle at 146.52 is where I think most of them are cut.
Right, right. And it looks like an upside down skirt from there, either side of that frequency.
Right, I got you. Anyway, I just thought I'd check and see how everybody's covering each other. All right, Robin, very good. That's Robin, Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie there south of Mount Juliet, about 5 miles south of me. South of the interstate, anyway. Anybody else checking in? And of course, we had me in there, but then we had N0 JPD, Andy, and Smyrna, and Jim, Kilo Echo 4 Tango, Yankee, Juliet, just down there by north of Woodbury, Scott, Kilo 1 Sierra Papa Delta over in Laverne, and West, Kilo Echo 4 Tango Whiskey, India, and he's just a little bit north of Watertown, and Kilo India 4 Zulu Delta Mike over there by the Cumberland River northeast of Nashville, and then Kilo 4 India Delta Charlie Robin south of me. Is there anybody else wishing to check in, or do we have any questions, comments, concerns, anything? All right, we got a rousing answer on that one, so I'll leave it. And let me run out of here. I've got something I got to do, but I appreciate everybody checking in tonight. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, which I think is a little bigger number than we had last time on the upper side band. Well, very good. We hope to hear everybody on the next Wednesday. Looking forward to you being there, and it was good having you in there.
Hey, good to hear you, Paul. Glad I had a chance to get in tonight on both nets.
Yeah, no, like I said, glad to have you in there. You got a great signal to me. It really is a killer. I don't have my regular S meter hooked up, so I can't give you a good one, but it's full copy. It's got to be at least S9.
Yeah, same for you over here. Great signal. That antenna you're using, it's booming in here.
Yeah, it was bouncing between 7 and 9 on the modulation there, but yeah, it was good. I just did look over at the easy read bar there on the 897D.
Yeah, you're solid S9 over here. No problem with that one.
Yeah, very good. Appreciate it. And if anybody else have any comments or questions before I jump out here? Well, very good. Closing that. You guys can hang around if you like, but I'll be running out here in a second. So I'll catch you guys later. Appreciate everybody who checked in, and have a good night.
Hey, Jim, you still in there? KE4TWR.
All right. Good night, everybody. See you.